If you're opening a cafe, you're going to be curious what it's worth to set up a great espresso bar like this. Let me talk you through what we've got in our bar, what we recommend to our cafe partners, and what it's all going to cost you. Alright guys, so this video is for someone that's setting up a cafe, or maybe you own a cafe and you're looking to upgrade your equipment. I just want to kind of talk you through what we've worked with for years, so we know that it's reliable, we know that it produces great coffee, and it's going to help us maintain the speed and efficiencies that we need in a good espresso bar. So let me talk you through each item individually, some of the benefits and features of those items, and what they're worth here in Australia. So it'll be Australian dollars, it'll include GST. And just so you know, we do sell this stuff on artisty.com.au. A lot of these items are listed on the website for sale, but if you want to reach out to us and I can help you with a particular quote or working out what equipment's right for your cafe, that is something we do, and we do that for all cafes around Australia. You don't have to be a cafe partner to do that. So let's jump into it with the first thing that everyone needs to nail, and that's your coffee grinder. So we have for many years used the Anfim SP2 model. So the SP2 is a 75mm titanium flat burr. It's actually got a 2.5 ton capacity, so you don't have to replace the burrs so much. But the flat burr actually gives us the flavor that we love out of our coffee. This particular machine is really fast on its grind times, about 5 to 7 seconds. It's super easy to clean. It's easy to troubleshoot for customers and for ourselves. And it also allows us to hang this scale holder. So this scale holder then has our Acaia scales on it. It's got the dosing pot, and we can manage our dose every single coffee that we make. This gives us that edge when we're trying to follow a recipe, while we're trying to onboard new staff, while we're trying to really keep up with that recipe every single coffee and get that consistency. The Acaia scales. Why do we use Acaia scales? Because they do cost a little bit more. So the Acaia scales actually cost $445. Some of the things I do like about them though, that makes it worth the money, is they're actually really fast to turn on, they're fast to tear, and they weigh the coffee really fast. They just stay on for a longer amount of time, but they're really sensitive and they're really accurate. And when you start doing some serious coffee volume, those things count. You'd be surprised how frustrating it is to use a cheap set of scales. So investing in some Acaia scales is going to be something that you're going to be very happy you did long term. They're USB rechargeable, and they're also water resistant, so you can use them on the drip tray and to check your yields, and they can get wet. So the Anfim SP2 comes in at about $3,749, and the scales tray is an extra $119. Now, the Anfim SP2 is in the process of being discontinued, so if there's another grinder that you recommend, put it in the comments below. We're definitely doing some testing as to what's the next grinder that we love to use, but we'll continue to use them. We've got plenty in our range and we can still support them, and we'll use them. So they've been a great grinder, but let us know if there's another grinder, another brand that you think we should move to next. Next thing is the Cinoart PT2. This is an automatic temper. Now this is going to help your staff just get consistency from shot to shot. It's also going to help with RSI because we're not hurting our wrists while we're tamping. One of the best things about the Cinoart temp is its non-stick coating so the puck doesn't stick to the tamp and take some of that dose off. So, and this one comes in at $999. That is cheaper than a puck press and some other brands. So it's one that we've introduced to our range and one that we recommend and sell. If you're chasing consistency in your coffee, it's an absolute must. Speaking of consistency, we can't forget the NCD. This little guy, if you were going to buy anything, will actually have one of the biggest impacts on your coffee making process. We've done a bunch of videos on distribution. We've featured this. It is only $139.99, and it makes a world of difference when it comes to distributing your coffee. It ensures that full saturation of the park. You'll slow down your extractions, which means you can go coarser. So good distribution is a big part of the coffee making process, and it's something that I think every coffee bar should have. Next thing is a jug rinser. Now you'll notice that we just have a simple Rhino Jug Rinser in here. We don't have a big drip tray. We don't have anything too dramatic. This plate doesn't come with it. It's literally just 150mm sink well with a simple jug rinser. The plate was covering an old hole, but we actually recommend these because they're quite powerful. They rinse the jugs quite quickly. Yes, you have to push down. That adds an extra second, but it is quite powerful. It's got a lot of pressure and it will clean the jug really quickly. We found this one to have quite a deep well in it, so it can you can tip milk in there in a rush and it's not going to go flying out the side like some of the jug rinsers do. If you're doing a good job of cleaning and rotating your jugs, you don't really need a drip tray. It ends up taking up bench space, and that bench space is valuable for other things. So the Rhino Jug Rinser is only $299.95. So it is also a little bit cheaper than some of the other jug rinsers, and it's something that you can potentially install yourself pretty easily. So the coffee machine, it's one of the biggest things, so I'm going to come back to it. Let's just have a quick look at this fridge. We've just got a simple Bromic 2-door fridge. We still have another fridge for extra storage, so hopefully your cafe has a storeroom or cool room, so that you can store more milk. But this simple fridge just gives us space to be able to hold our alternative milks and our full cream and our skim. It comes in at just $3,905. It is often a cost that people forget about when you're looking at all your coffee equipment. Don't forget the cost of your fridge. It's definitely something that you want to think about early. And you've got to think about space. I do like this one because it's on big wheels and can pull it out and clean under it and get to the back of them underneath the machine. The dimensions on this fridge are good. We do have a bit of space between the fridge and the bench. And it's also a brand that we can rely on and trust. There are a lot of brands out there, and fridges is devastating when they break down in the middle of service. So definitely go with a brand that you trust. Spend a little bit more on a good brand of fridge. All right, so over to the brew bar side of our espresso bar. Now, this is our secondary grinder. We use this grinder for single origins, decafs. We use it to set up our cold brew systems, our batch brews, and it gives us the ability to diversify our menu. It's definitely something we recommend to cafes, and it's definitely something we want to be able to have here because we have our full range of blends available, so you need to experience the coffee. Now, because there's so many coffees, we have chosen the Mazzer ZM because it gives us the ability to quickly change between grind settings using a digital interface. We can program a large number of coffee settings into this. We can even change the name so it tells us what that grind setting is dedicated for. And that grind setting is a micron adjustment to digital reading. So it's less like the Acaia where it's got a turn dial. It's not a grinder that we recommend to someone that's got a lot of changing staff and turnover. It doesn't have someone that really understands this product because it does take a little bit of time to learn the ins and outs of it, how to set it up, but once it's firing, it's great. It's a single dose grinder, so it works for our workflow. We just have all of our coffees ready to go in small dosing pots, all weighed out, and they just get poured straight in the top, grind the full amount out, and we can add that to the espresso bar side and get those shots out real quick. We've got the Breville Precision Brewer. This is giving us the option to do batch brew. Batch brew is a great way to feature your coffee. So we'll put a single origin of the month on the batch brew, and it also doesn't tie up the espresso bar. So we love having the batch brew on. It just gets set up in the morning and stays good for a few hours, and it doesn't tie up the machine. You can serve the customers very quickly. So we'll always have a battery on. Batch brew is super easy to prepare. Anyone can do it. Just follow a step-by-step guide. It also uses a lot less coffee to produce a lot more liquid. So it's quite a profitable thing. So we recommend it to cafes to increase profitability. We're always looking for those options. So it's a great way to feature your coffee, and you don't have to add milk to it. There's no heating or frothing. Super easy to make and serve. The Breville Precision Brewer is $499. So next is the Stagg Kettle. This is a temperature control kettle that allows us to run our long blacks at the same temperature every time, so we can kind of manage that experience for the customer. It also opens up the option for alternative brewing, whether it's pour overs, AeroPresses, other devices. So the Stagg Kettle comes in at $329. So much like the Breville Precision Brewer, to expand your menu even further, we want to open up the cold drinks menu. We do that with the Brewer Cold Dripper. Now this is something that we can prepare at the start of the day, and we'll bottle that. Like you saw when I opened the fridge, there's bottles ready to go. So a customer orders a cold drip coffee, we can send it out the door without tying up the barista, and the other staff can help with that. It's really tasty. There's a bunch of different ways to brew it. We obviously use the Mazzer ZM grinder to grind that coffee off, put an amount in there, and again, it goes a long way. So that's something that you would want to look at. It's pretty cost effective. It's only $119 for that little system. It's obviously not a bulk system. It's going to just get you started until you can move up to something like a 5-litre toddy, but that's definitely a good start if you wanted to introduce cold drinks to your menu. All right, so the main event, this is the Marzocco Linea PB. This is a 3-group PB. We love the 2-group as well. So it's really a personal preference, also a volume thing. We've got customers doing really high volumes, doing 40, 50 kilos on a 2-group. So it's not totally essential to go to a 3-group, but it does give you that bit more edge when you've got a lot of coffees going out the door, especially if you've got 2 people on the machine. It is a dual boiler machine, so it is simultaneously brewing and steaming, and there's never really conflicts between the two. They're never affecting each other. That dedicated steam is always full. It produces really nice, silky smooth milk, and you can spin lots of milk really fast to keep up with those rushes. The brew boiler is always ready to go, and the temperature control PID controller in there allows you to have that even, consistent extraction, and you're not getting the fluctuations in your temperature that are going to affect your extractions. It is built for a long life. These machines can be refurbished, they can be resold. The resale value on these machines is really high, and we've brought many of them back to life. We do refurbish them. Lots of customers are very happy to have this machine. Even if it's, can be 10, 15 years old, sometimes they are amazing because you can replace all the parts in this machine. So a lot of technicians will already have the parts for them, so if you have issues, you can quickly get that replaced or serviced. And also staff can help with that as well. A lot of baristas have spent time on these machines, they understand them, and they know how to change seals, shower screens, and can troubleshoot them really easy. So buying equipment that's going to suit the market, and where baristas will actually look at that machine and go, cool, I'm comfortable being on that machine, is a big part of the question. When I see people look at some of the brands that are out there, they look amazing. Some of the machines that are new or aren't as popular. That's really cool if you're looking for a showpiece, a piece of equipment on your bench, but it might be a hindrance to be able to hire staff, be able to get help, be able to get serviced, and the extra cost that would come with that. So we have chosen the PB as our machine of choice for all of those reasons. They're also really easy for the barista to learn how to do things like programming the machine, changing the yields, and adapting the recipe. There's a lot of settings that we can dive into to make the coffee taste even better. There is also a way to connect an app to it so you can get that information firsthand and be able to make quick changes. So there's some cool technology coming with this machine. And there's also just a great support team behind La Marzocco. So we've worked with them for many years, and we've worked on many of their machines, and they're just a great support team. They've got lots of insight into the future of coffee. The La Marzocco team are just ahead of the curve in the specialty game, and they're a great team of support for us, and we know that they support customers, and we can help them do that as well. So if you were going to buy a 3-group La Marzocco Linea PB, you'd be up for $26,895. That brings our grand total to just over $43,000. Now that is going to give you the most amazing experience for making coffee. It's going to give your customers a great experience. It's going to make sure that you can expand your menu to the full extent. We've got cold brews, we've got batch brews, we've got a single dose grinder. We can expand the amount of coffees that we can offer. We can do retail on that grinder if we want to as well. That would expand your offering. Plus we know that our baristas are comfortable. They can be very fast, they can be very efficient. You're going to get great tasting coffee day in, day out. So this is why we have chosen to use this equipment in our espresso bar. So if you're setting up a cafe, this could be the right equipment for you, and we can help you with that. So if you want to reach out, we can help set you up. We can make sure it's the right equipment, do quotes and everything you need to choose the right equipment for your cafe. So reach out to us through artisti.com.au, DM us on Instagram, message us on Facebook. Any way you can get through, we're happy to help. So if this has been helpful for you because you're opening a cafe, we'd love your feedback in the comments. Like the video. We do lots of content. We've got lots of other videos, and there's plenty of other supporting videos for cafe owners and people opening cafes. We want to make sure you're making the right decisions from the start. So hopefully this video has been helpful for you, and I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.